I swear I thought I fucked up, but it all worked out in the end, lol.
The bitch, the little son of a bitch, is not coming out of the pan. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I'm really excited for today's video. It was my parents' wedding anniversary, the 17th, so I thought it would be fun to bake a cake for them. So I wasn't exactly planning on doing this whole BuzzFeed type of video, bake the cake and sit and talk about it type of video, but then I was so fucking tired after baking the whole thing, and some of the clips were just terrible, so I thought I'll just sit and talk about it. So this is how I made the cake. Also, I have written down the recipe, and this is my current plan. So it's obviously a 2-tier cake, and it's called tier light or 2 layers. I don't know if I'm fucking this up, but yeah. So I have he just used chocolate shavings, but I want to make like a heart of M&Ms or something, because it's for a wedding anniversary. Also, I have got some Mars bars and everything. So I think I'll just top the cake with that. I don't know, I just have a rough idea of what I'm gonna do. So first things first, you whisk together the dry ingredients. First things first, I eat your brain. Sorry. So I took about 2 cups of flour, 3/4 cup of cocoa powder, yeah, that's about it, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and about 1 whole cup of white sugar and 3/4 cup of brown sugar. I honestly finished almost all the sugar in the pantry and my mom was so mad at me. And it seems like a lot of sugar, but trust me, it isn't. When you mix it with the buttercream, it just balances out perfectly. And I was halfway through whisking this whole thing when I realized, oh shit, I forgot to add the salt. Now the recipe calls for 1.5 teaspoon of sea salt, but my dumbass didn't refer the recipe back when I was making this, so I added just about 1 teaspoon, or what was that, even half? I don't know, but yeah, 1.5 teaspoon of sea salt, and you whisk everything really well. Now there was this one part that I was worried about, and that is the amount of eggs in it. So my parents, they are all vegetarians, but my mom doesn't exactly like tasting eggs in cakes. It's just something weird that she has. So I was kind of skeptical about the amount of eggs because I've never added 4 fucking eggs in something. I usually try to avoid eggs and substitute it with apple cider vinegar and yogurt or something, but I just decided to follow the recipe, and I can swear by this that you cannot taste the eggs, not even a bit, once the cake is cold. So first all I did was beat 2 egg yolks really well, and the recipe calls for neutral tasting oil, so it can either be vegetable oil, canola oil, or anything of your choice. So I took canola oil and I alternated between whisking the egg and adding the canola oil. So if you guys are wondering what ovo vegetarians are, it is just basically vegetarians who eat eggs along with other dairy products. Anyway, so I'm whisking it all really well. Then I added about 2 large eggs and 1 tablespoon of vanilla essence. Wait, that clip hasn't come yet. There it is. Okay, and I whisked it all really well. Now the recipe said that it'll form this thick custardy mixture, and it wasn't that thick for me, but thick. Okay, but it wasn't that thick, but I just went with it. So I added the wet ingredients, the dry ingredients, and just scraped everything off the bowl. And I don't have a spatula, so I had to use this wooden ladle, and it formed this weird thick lumpy mixture, and it smelled so amazing. Oh shit, out of focus. Yep, there you go. And it smelled so good, and so yeah, I just kept on mixing it till it was all like just blended together. And I'm just scraping everything off the ladle and just mixing everything once again. Now the next part is heating up the milk. Oh yeah, there you go. So you take about 3/4 cup of milk, just a little bit more. Yep. So I heated the milk. Now he said that you should make sure the milk doesn't boil, you should just simmer it. So that's what I did. That's a mess I made. Yeah, so I'm just placing it on the heat, simmering it. Now, just to be safe, I transferred the whole thing to a metal bowl because for some reason I was paranoid that the plastic would melt, which is so stupid. But it was fine. So I gradually added the milk and made sure to keep on whisking it, the whole scrambling thing which I'm worried about. But nothing happened. It just formed a really smooth mixture once I added the whole milk together. I'm transferring it back to the bowl because the heat was cold. Heat. So yeah, trust me, I've nailed it to know that you should not over risk or like over mix your cake, because the cake can end up being too hard. So I did use like a lot of nailed it tips, and I just love the show. Now I didn't have any parchment paper left because I used up the remaining parchment paper on the t-shirt TikTok video thing which I tried out. Plug, check it out, link in bio. Anyway, I buttered the pan really well and sprinkled some flour. You can see me aggressively dusting the flour off my hand. And I transferred half the batter to the bowl and I baked it for about 28 minutes at 175 Celsius. And another thing that I learned from Nail It is that you should not sorry, I was just distracted by this trapper. Anyway, another thing that I learned from Nailed It is you should not leave your cake in the oven for too long. Now, he did say that you need around 30 to 35 minutes for the cake to bake, but mine was done by 28 minutes, and the toothpick came out clean, but I wanted to stick to the recipe, so I thought, should I leave it in just a little bit longer? But I was like, no, fuck that. And I took the cake out, and thankfully it wasn't dry or anything, it was just really moist. So the toothpick came out clean. I was bored, I'm sorry. Anyway, a little update about the cake. The whole point of this video is the little son of a bitch, is not coming out of the pan. Now, I swear this has never happened to me. I usually don't use parchment paper. Fuck, I'm so getting so nervous. Anyway, I don't usually use parchment paper and it just comes off. So I have put it in the freezer for 5 minutes, and I think the bottom is like still pretty hot, Okay, so I think that's the reason why it didn't come out. And when it did come out, it looked like some old man's ass crack, but that's fine. I think the butter just solidified. Now the next part is the chocolate buttercream. Now the recipe calls for half a cup of butter. So I googled it and it's apparently 1 stick of butter. So that's what I'm adding. The butter also should be softened. And what's that? What am I doing? Did I just eat something off the floor? I don't know. Oh yeah, the cocoa powder that I spilled. Anyway, now you should just whisk the butter really well. I realized I didn't turn the plug on, so that's what I did. So I'm whisking the butter until it's smooth. Now you should take about 4 cups of powdered sugar and 3/4 cup of cocoa powder. Make sure that you gradually add in the cocoa powder and powdered sugar and not everything at once, because you don't want to make a mess. So just beat it really well. Now, to be honest, I did make this on a really hot day and the buttercream kind of started to melt, but that's fine. I refrigerated it a bit and it was pretty thick. Now this is the consistency you're looking for. You can also add a little bit of milk in between to just thin it out. So I added a dollop of buttercream that kind of looks like poo-poo on the cutting board, which is what I decided to present my cake on. Now you have to have enough layer of buttercream in between the two cakes so that it tastes delicious and everything. So I scooped up a lot of buttercream and just spread it really well. I'm adding the next layer of cake, just squishing it all together. Make sure it just tastes fit tight, whatever. Oh shit, I'm regretting my nails so much. I went for this abstract look and it just ended up looking like this. Such a mess. Now anyway, I'm not exactly the best at frosting a cake. I don't even know how to do it. And truth be told, I don't have all the equipment you need, like not even a spatula for fuck's sake. Anyway, I grated a lot of dark chocolate on top, and since it's for a wedding anniversary, like I already said, I added M&Ms and made a heart shape out of it. And I'm just grating a lot of dark chocolate. Now I kept this, chilled this in the freezer for about 30 minutes and it came out perfectly smooth. And my mom thanked me for making the cake by filming this perfectly out of focus clip. But you guys, it was so good to cut through this cake and just look at that layer. Hold on, let me just take the cake castle, take the slice out. Yep, there you go. Look at that layer. Look at those layers. Oh my god. And it was so creamy and smooth. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. And you guys should definitely check out Joshua Weissman's recipe. This is just ridiculous when I find me, someone with 36 fucking subscribers. I don't know if someone unsubscribed. I haven't checked my channel in so long. Anyway, me with 36 subscribers linking down the recipe of someone with like million subscribers. But the 36 of you are like, who is watching, check out his recipes. They're amazing. So yeah. Bye.